Hello, so in this video I'm going to do a demonstration of how to set up InfraSOS's Active Directory self-service password reset portal, which is an all-in-one AD self-service portal to allow users to reset their passwords, update their AD profiles, and for admins to schedule password expiration notification email and other features such as Active Directory user reports and management and an employee search portal. If you want to deploy this, links are in the description below, and let's set this up. Okay, once you've deployed the VM, first you want to make sure that you've got your networking set up. So you want to make sure that this VM can talk to your domain controllers. Okay, so the first step is you want to add this virtual machine to your Active Directory domain. So I'm going to add this to my test domain that I've got set up. Okay, now once the VM is restarted and you've logged in and it's now on the domain, the next step is we need to create two Active Directory security groups with the following naming conventions: InfraSOS-admins and InfraSOS-self-update. Now these groups, the admins, this gives admins full access to all portal admin settings such as configuration, running reports, viewing dashboards, and enables the admins to do the full complete setup of all the settings. The self-update group, this allows users the permission to be able to update their Active Directory profile under the Update Profile tab within the portals. Users not in this group will only have read-only access to view their Active Directory profile attributes. All domain users will have access to log in and reset their passwords, no matter if they're in or not in any groups. They'll be able to use the employee search and have read-only access to their profiles. Right, so back to the VM. So the VM already comes pre-installed with the Active Directory users and computers console. Here you can see I've already created these groups, so InfraSOS-admins and InfraSOS-self-updates, and I've already added my user account to the admins group. Right, so next step is in the documentation, we need to give the local service account InfraSOS admin self-service on the InfraSOS server to manage password resets and report actions. So to do this, we have to give Active Directory delegation control to this server. So the steps are in the documentation, but in the video I'm going to show you. So again, open up Active Directory users or computers, right click on your domain, click delegation control, click next. Here we want to click add on the object types, unselect everything and only select computers. Search for this server. So this server, I've called it InfraSOS. Click add. Okay. Click next. And here we want to select the following. So create, delete, manage user accounts, reset user passwords and force password change at next login, read all user information. Click next. And then click finish, and then we just need to wait. This may take a minute or so depending on the size of your AD, so I'll just pause this. Okay, so the next step is we now need to restart the services on the InfraSOS server. So on the desktop you can click stop InfraSOS service and then start. Now the next step is optional, so this is about setting up a certificate for InfraSOS. So you can use your own certificate if you've got your own public key infrastructure. So in this demo, I'm going to set up a self-signed certificate so it can resolve the host name which on this demo is InfraSOS. So links to this are in the documentation that shows you the script that I'm running. So now if I check my local certificate store, it should show that certificate. And I'm going to add it to the trusted root. So now, if we log in now to InfraSOS portal, which is going to be called a localhost, HTTP. So let's type it in, HTTP localhost. And then I'm going to log in with my domain account, which is this account is added to the InfraSOS-admins AD group that we set up earlier. And then you'll get a screen like this. So admins in the admin groups will have access to admin reports, admin settings, dashboards, and portal customizations. If a user logs in, they'll only have access to the home page, employee search, profile, reset password, and update profile. So to set up the certificates, we are going to go to admin settings, portal certificate, enable HTTPS, true, and then select the certificate. Remember we added it to the local certificate store, InfraSOS, hit update, and now we want to restart the services. So if we close the browser down, stop the service, start the service, and now if we go to it via HTTPS, sometimes you might have to restart the browser a couple of times the first time you log in. So let's give it a refresh. There we go. So now set up. Okay, so the next step is to set up your email settings for password reminders. So one of the features with InfraSOS, it will email users whose password are expiring within 14 days, 7 days, and 3 days with instructions on how to set or how to change their password. So what you want to do is under admin settings, email notifier, is add your SMTP configuration. So you're going to want to put in a mailbox the name of the sender, password, the subject line you want in the email, SMTP server, your port, and if you have an IT help desk telephone number, you can put that in. That will show up in the email. Your help desk email address, if you want to put in a department name. This bit is optional, so this is the URL of the InfraSOS portal if you want to give users, if you want to put this within the email. So once you've done that, save your settings, and here you can test the SMTP configuration. So if you click on the test SMTP connection, this will send an email to this account that you have set up. So for example, when you click it, it will get an email that will look something like this to say that you've set up the SMTP settings correctly. And then once you're happy that that's working, then we can then enable it. So when you hit this enable button, this will then start running in the background as a Windows task schedule, and it runs every day at 10 a.m. It will check users if their password is expiring within 14 or 73 days, and it will send them an email. So if I click submit, and that's enabled now. And if you check your task schedule, Windows task schedule, it automatically creates a schedule for this. There it is, called InfraSOS, every day at 10 a.m. password reminder. So the email template that is sent to users can also be customized. So there's built-in variables, which are the options that you added earlier. So for example, username and days, they're automatically detected by InfraSOS, so you don't need to change those. So these attributes, SD, phone, email, company name, portal, are these that you added here. So these automatically get added into the email. So this is how the email looks. So dear username, so that will be, actually that comes up as the display name. So for example, dear John Smith, we would like to inform you your password is set to expire in days. So if it's 7 days, their password expires, or 14, 3 days, it will show the number of days. Instructions on how to change the password, and then details about your service desk telephone number and email and your department name. Now, if you want to edit this email template, what you want to do is you want to go to C InfraSOS, email, and then email body. So right click on edit, and what you want to do is you want to be careful when you edit this. You want to make sure that you're only editing text between the quotes. So anything in this section you can edit. Just make sure you don't delete those quotes. And you can add in the these parameters get pulled from those settings in the portal. So save that and then restart the services if you want to update that. And that's it for the email settings. So other features within the portal, if we look at password policy, this automatically pulls your password policy from your domain. So you don't really need to do any changes on this. The only thing is to check your minimum password length matches. So you can update this. So for example, my domain, this is my default domain policy, which is the standard. You can change the password length, which is when a user comes into the portal, if they want to manually reset their password, it will change the password to a complex password with the password length that you set in the password policy. So other settings, an admin can also reset a user's password. So for example, if I did a search for someone, and if I want to reset this guy's password, if I click on it, okay, so that's good that this has happened. So this should update, but it hasn't. So what you should also do is, while we were setting this up within the C drive under InfraSOS, log error, keep an eye on this for any errors. So here's come up with permission denied. So this could be because I'm in a test domain. The replication might not be working between my domain controllers. Is we want to make sure that the Active Directory delegation is correctly set up. So I'm going to pause this and run through my delegation again and restart my services. See if that fixes it. Okay, it's working now. It was the replication between my domain controllers wasn't working correctly. So I've resolved that now. So back to this. So now if we do a search for a user and I've clicked on it and it's reset his password. So for example, if I check another user, password reset for Josme, their username and password, so you can give that to the user and password. So other things is Active Directory reports. So you can do a report on disabled users, password expired users, users whose password is set to never expire, users never logged on, users not logged on in 60 days. So this report runs in the background every 30 minutes. So this is a list of my disabled users. And we've got actions. We can automatically enable a user. So if we want to enable Richard Whitefield, that user is now enabled. So if we want to look at other ones, for example, password expired. This also has actions. You can disable accounts. So if we want to disable Articles, now is disabled. Other settings are on the dashboard. It has a dashboard, so you can get an overview of all of your reports. Sometimes if they don't know, just give it a little refresh. It gives you an overview of the main reports, and it can give you a check the status that your emails are being sent. Also, you can check who has received emails. So I don't know if this is going to open because I haven't run any emails. So if I pull up the documentation, I can see that. I can zoom in. So it will give you a log of who's received emails today. So Gary Dorsey has received an email because his password expires in 14 days. And if you want to look at the previous days, you can just look at the InfraSOS log. Customization. So along the header, you'll see these buttons. So all these can be customized. If you have, it's quite good if you've got internal apps that you want other users to be able to browse to. Here you just give it a title. So you see this one, InfraSOS. You can change the title, change the URL, and change the icon. Icons you'll find on that URL. It's pretty straightforward. I think that is it. So the final thing I want to show is what it looks like when a user actually logs in. So if we log in as a normal user, we'll choose this user, and I'm going to add them, or they're already added to the self-update group, InfraSOS self-update. So if they log in, this is the screen that they get. So obviously they don't have access to all the admin stuff. So if they want to reset a password, you can just go to the reset button and just hit generate password, and it automatically resets their password to this complex password. Employee search. So they can do a search for employees within your company, which is quite useful if users want to find out their contact details, who their manager is. So if they've got a mobile phone number set up on their AD attributes, office phone, office city last login, which is quite useful. So if they do a search for me, for example, I see the reason why I'm not showing up is because I am in the users container. I should also mention, if users are in the user container, some of the features might not work, like some of the actions if you want to disable or you're trying to search for someone. So if we search for someone in an organizational unit, and here you can I just want to show you what it looks like when you get the last logon date. Okay, so the next bit is the profile. So users will have be able to read what attributes they have set up in Active Directory, and if they have permissions, if they're in that self-update group, then they can update these attributes, only these ones. So it's just to do with their contact details, really, their address, telephone number and stuff. So let's just say if we wanted to change this, click save. And if they then look at the profile, it's updated their mobile phone. And that's it. So if you've got any questions, just write them below on the YouTube video, or you can contact us directly on our website at infrasos.com. And other than that, have a great day.